Let's switch to the NBA, man, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about here at All-Star Weekend. First order of business, we saw Klay Thompson. I was speaking about this earlier. He exploded on Thursday night, dropped 35 and 3/4. Utah lost to Golden State 140-137. He is scoring points in the fourth quarter. In terms of stats, with about a minimum of 500 attempts, I think he's the worst clutch shooter in the game today at about 27%. But Klay is still Klay. He's still one of the all-time great shooters we've ever seen in NBA history. What do you make of what you saw from him just the other night? What do you make of what you see from him this season?
It's been interesting because maybe a month or two ago, he had his comments about when he first got set in the fourth quarter, and he wasn't really comfortable about it. But the last week or so, he's kind of opened up to the idea. He mentioned that Ray Allen wasn't the same player the last couple years of his career as he's tried to take a step back because he wasn't doing the same stuff he was doing in Milwaukee or in Seattle. And we kind of see the lifespan of a shooter with Reggie Miller eventually adjusting. And Klay's like, I think I'm willing to do that. Now, I was surprised to see him come off the bench yesterday, but happy to see that he dropped 30-plus points in that. So, I think that because of how good Klay Thompson is, the idea of Klay Thompson, even if he's not having his best year, he's going to be respected across the league as far as coaching go. He's going to keep the game open and space for them. And then the rookie, Brandon Podziemski, is having amazing night after amazing night. It makes sense. And even Steve Kerr said after last night's game that don't look for Klay Thompson to start lineup for the foreseeable future. I think that's just interesting. And I don't think you make that decision to Steve Kerr unless you get the thumbs up from Steph, unless you get the thumbs up.
How surprised have you been by Podziemski? I didn't expect him to be this good.
I didn't either. Because when I started to watch college basketball, it's the NCAA tournament. His team wasn't there last year.
That's right.
So I didn't know anything about him other than he went to Illinois, shout out to Chicago and everything, but then transferred away from that. So I came in completely blind. I had no idea he was going to be this polished as a rookie. And we're kind of seeing a few guys across the league that come in like that. And it's kind of cool. Like we think about the star players like the Wembys and the Chets and how they can impact the game as an all-star, but we don't really think about like the people that come in as role players. And he's been able to do that on a dynasty team.
One of the things I do like about Kerr, going back to Klay Thompson for a quick second, the one thing I love about him coming off the bench is that they're testing him. You want a new contract? We couldn't reach an accord. Obviously, people were speculating that he was lamenting a little bit how they couldn't reach an accord, and it was affecting his play because his confidence had been compromised, et cetera, et cetera. We heard about LeBron and Steph and how the Golden State Warriors reached out to the Lakers to try to make that happen before the trading deadline expired. And there's no way on earth that you're trading for LeBron James and you wasn't giving up Klay at the very least, if not more. So we take all of those things into consideration. But I think this move by the Warriors is their way of saying, let's investigate whether or not you can really play this role effectively for us. Because if you can, we might want to keep you. Your thoughts about that?
I think that this is, what we saw at the deadline with them doing nothing made me think that this is like somewhat of a gap year. Like they've been playing decent basketball recently other than the game that they blew against the Clippers a couple nights ago. But I believe that this is going to be one of the most interesting off seasons in all of basketball because of the Klay Thompson situation. And we're going to see, because I also think that some of the teams that have money, like the 76ers who have up to $60+ million in cap, or the Detroit Pistons who are trying to find their way, they're going to call Klay Thompson because he is Klay Thompson. Whether he's the all-star that we saw from 3 years ago or this version, he's going to warrant some money. So it's the Warriors like, okay, we know that these other teams have some money to potentially give you, but we love you here in the Bay. We can maybe make some other adjustments around you, but maybe the next part of your career is coming off the bench and playing a smaller role while we kind of introduce some of these younger people.